Hi everybody, welcome back here to my channel. My name's Katie, if you don't already know. Today I'm going to talk about my college experience. It's definitely a unique experience, so I want to put my story out there in case you can relate to it or you need some advice. On my channel I do talk a lot about teaching and being an education major. I'm going to save education major specific stuff for another video. This might be a little bit long, so grab an iced coffee or a snack if you want and let's get started. So I have my notes on my laptop over here and I'm going to run through the breakdown of this video. But I'm going to first talk about my overview of my experience, so you guys kind of know, if you've never watched me here on YouTube before, what my experience is. The pressure of coming out of high school to go to a 4-year, overcoming shame around going to community college, making friends at community college, the transfer process, how I feel about our college system in general as a college graduate, and life after graduation. So that is what you're in store for. Let's start with the overview. So I went to an all-girls Catholic high school here in California in the Bay Area. So we were very much told to go to a 4-year and apply. I probably applied to 9 schools out of high school. I was between Sonoma State and St. Mary's, and I ultimately ended up going to St. Mary's because it was smaller and it just felt like more of a fit for me. But I remember from the very beginning not being really thrilled about either one of them, especially compared to everyone around me. They just all felt like they found the school they fell in love with. They're so excited to go, and I definitely was not experiencing that. I was excited in a sense, but it definitely wasn't like everybody else, and I didn't really know if this was the right fit, but it was all I had at the end of the day. So I decided to go. So I go to St. Mary's for a semester and like a half kind of, and I really did not like it. It was not for me. If you go there or you're thinking of going there, it's definitely a great school. It just was not the right fit for me. So I go there for a little bit, and then I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life, because my mindset is I'm going to a 4-year, I'm graduating from this 4-year. So I'm at this 4-year college and I'm like, I have to graduate from here. Actually, my mom told me one day, after I've been complaining to her for a whole semester of how much I hate it, she was like, you know, you can go somewhere else. Like, you can go to community college or something. And I don't know why, like I just needed the validation from someone else that I could do that. And it just clicked, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing that. I need to get out of this place. This is not the place for me. So I went to live back at home, and I went to De Anza, which is a community college in Cupertino, and one of my best friends was going there at the time, so it was really nice. We got to go to school together, and so I finished out the rest of my freshman year and then all of my sophomore year at community college. Then from community college, I decided to transfer to Notre Dame de Namur University, which is a tiny little school up in Belmont, which is near like San Mateo, a little bit south of San Francisco. And I went there for my junior and senior year. So I was a true transfer, and now I'm done. So that is the overview. So we're gonna talk about my feelings and my pressure coming out of high school and feeling like I have to go to a 4-year. So like I said, I was between 2 schools, and neither one of them called my name, and I couldn't tell if it was because those schools just weren't for me, or if I wasn't ready for the schools, if I wasn't ready for college, if I wasn't ready to move out. And I think looking back now, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for college. I have always been really kind of like an old soul in my peer group, and that made me feel really disconnected from like the typical college life. I was not excited to go to parties. I was not excited to meet a ton of new people. I was very content with my life in high school, and content with my comfort zone. And people like me, we're not very vocal on like social media, or we're not broadcasting our, you know, calm, easy life at home with our parents, and we're like having a good time. Like what you see on social media and on YouTube and Instagram is like the college party, the college life, you know, the new boys, the new, you know, adventures, and that's great. But some people aren't ready for that coming out of high school. And now looking back, I wish I would have told myself that it is okay to do your own thing. Like, it's okay to go to community college. It's okay to take a gap year. There isn't one prescribed thing for everyone. I definitely went to a school that like everyone and their mother was asking you, where are you going to school? Where are you going to school? And like, you don't say like community college at my high school. That like wasn't the thing you said, unfortunately, even though that's a very acceptable option. So I definitely was pressured. So then, very much leading into that, I want to talk about the shame of going to community college. And I guess shame is a bit of a harsh word. I don't necessarily know if I felt shame from other people. I feel like I was shaming myself because of the culture that I had kind of bought onto, and I saw all the social media stuff, and I saw all my friends do the 4-year thing, fall in love, move away, do the college dream. And I think initially the shame really came from within me. Like, I was shaming myself for going to community college, and because that was just what my world was. And I think it definitely took me a while, but I just really started taking pride in my schoolwork. Like, I'm so determined to put in all this effort to all these classes, only take a year and a half to get out of community college, and I'm gonna get on to my next school. Like, I'm gonna find eventually the school I wanna be at, but I'm just gonna really zone in. Like, I kind of had to tunnel vision myself into community college. It was an experience where I had to really focus on myself. I couldn't look out. I couldn't look to my friends or my peers because they weren't doing what I was doing. And it wasn't healthy for me to compare myself to them because we're different. Like, I am not them, so it would make no sense to compare myself to them. So like I said, I wanted to talk a little bit about making friends at community college. I still have one of my best friends today that I met at community college. One of my biggest tips for making friends at community college is to take your classroom friends and make them into outside of school friends. So for example, this one girl and I, the girl that I'm still friends with today, we would talk about studying on campus, and sometimes I think we'd meet up at campus and do homework. But then the very second that we went off campus together, we met at a Starbucks to do our homework, then we both knew we wanted to be each other's friends. And that's kind of what's hard at community college. You don't really know where everyone else is in their life because it's so many different walks of life. So it's good to kind of get that mutual, like, hey, I want to spend time with you outside of school. And so you meet up at like a Starbucks or like a Panera and you do work together. That's how I was able to start a really, really amazing friendship out of community college. So the next part is the transfer process. So the transfer process is interesting because at my community college, I didn't even have an advisor. I was my own advisor. I was keeping track of all my classes. I was looking at the EGETSI, which is basically a document that you could keep track of your classes in California. I was keeping track of everything, and I figured out that for Notre Dame, I had all the qualifications and I could apply. And so the cool thing about Notre Dame is because they are a rolling admission, I ended up applying, I'm gonna say like February or March, like before my junior year was supposed to start, and I got accepted fairly quickly, and then I just decided to go. It was very simple. Overall, as a whole, how do I feel about our college system in the United States? I think it's great. I think our college system is awesome in the sense of what it provides for students and the opportunities you can get after college. But I think what I have an issue with is the college culture. And the college culture that's seen in movies and on social media and is talked about in the general peer pool of high school graduates is the parties and the socialization and the moving out in your dorm room and just kind of, you know, doing your own thing. That doesn't work for everybody, and it is detrimental when you have all these high school seniors that don't fit with that bubble, that don't fit with that college culture, and then they feel like they're inferior. That is my only issue with it, because that is totally what I experienced. I went through college and I'm out of college now, and I'm happy. I have friends. I am like completely fine, and I didn't really go through that typical college culture experience. Not to say that it's bad, because so many people at that age are really wanting that taste of freedom where they have a dorm and they have fun things to do, but it's not for everyone. And that's the main thing that I want to make sure I get across in this video, and I would love to start challenging our college culture in our country to make sure that that isn't the only narrative that you know in college. So to close up this video, I want to briefly talk about life after graduation and how I found a job. Again, this could totally be another video. So I ended up getting an AmeriCorps position, which is essentially very similar to like the Peace Corps, but you're working in education. I got a job through this really awesome company that I've been working for a while, and I'm just super excited to be working with kids and to be involved with that. It's really a great opportunity to do after you graduate, to do AmeriCorps. It's considered like a service year because you're getting a stipend and stuff, so you're not getting like a huge income, but it's a great stepping stone before you kind of launch into your career. So I didn't have a problem finding a job, and even if I didn't go this route and I wanted to go into teaching, there is such a teacher shortage in California. I would have found a job like that. Obviously that's the field I'm going into. It'll be different for whatever your major is. Life after graduation so far is going good. I definitely have not had my existential crisis yet, and I'm expecting that to hit soon once I realize like I'm not going back to school. Like I don't need to buy new notebooks and new pens for the school year starting in August, which I've done every single year of my whole entire life. So that might hit, and when that comes, I will definitely let you guys know how I'm dealing and coping with that, because that's very common and normal after graduation. I really hope you guys found this video helpful or just interesting to hear my story. I hope to see you all around. If you want to subscribe, definitely click the subscribe button down below, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys.